It's not. Well, it will. Look at that. Look at it. Is it messing up on you?
Nope.
Look,
You're fine.
there's you far away. There's you close up. Testing 1, 2. There's you far away. There's you close up.
How'd you do that?
Because you know what? How did I do that? You want to know? There you are, just by yourself. That's you if you had your own show. It would be a very nice show, and this would be your audience. People like that would be watching. Ooh, what a great show! Then you'd have fans. Ooh, I love Dirty Royce. It's not your fan. It's Dirty Royce's fan. Ooh, you're very nice. And there's you by yourself. So today, Corey, it's a special day. Tuesday, September 29th, 2020, 8:02 a.m. We have people in the chat that would like to talk to you, that love you. I love you. If you did have your own show, just say you did, how would you start it off? I want to know.
Welcome to the show, my people.
It's 8 a.m. You're waking up to your reality. Everyone is hawking you, Chainik. Where the hell is your coffee? Your next stop is...
Here we are. Good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun is coming out. I hope it's coming out wherever you're from. And today we got a really cool show. Mm-hmm. But Oive's very excited. The sun's hawking me Chainik. Now it's coming in. I had cool, Vegas lights, and now you're going to get spots on my face. But no, I'm not sick. I hope I don't get a sunburn. Look behind me. Coffee Talk shirts.
I like it.
Carlino Guitars. They make T-shirts. They make guitar straps. They make guitars. They also make shirts, Corey. But it's
Not for me.
It's a one-man show. His name is Eddie Carlino. The guy is great. The guy does his work. But you just annoy people. That's what you do. Not for you. And that's why I got good quality shirts. And it doesn't do it justice, I can't find my hand.
I can't find your hand. It's on the end of your arm.
But it's like different. You got mugs in the back. He does all this guy does top work. And this is the type of shirt that you don't see your nipples. And these shirts actually fit. Now, Corey, your shirts, they don't fit.
I wanted Carlinos to make me, but they waited 2 months. So I had to tell them no.
Dude, they didn't wait 2 months. You start with people. And you know what? You're not a people person. That you did. It started with the doctor. And then yesterday, he got very upset that Miranda Forsman was here. But check it out. She's going to be here every Monday. I think
she's great. I got upset that I thought you replaced me.
No, I'm not replacing you. Who else am I going to pick on? The show would be boring if I didn't pick on you. I need somebody. Every show needs a schmuck. Thank God for you. Hope your wife doesn't yell at me. I'm only joking. It's good YouTube. Can't even say radio. I don't even know what the show is. Podcast, radio. Anyway, Bill K says, "Don't hawk me, China. Cough, cough, cough. Smoky up here on the coast. Oh my God, there's fires. I believe, right? This is terrible.
Crazy.
I hope you're safe, Bill K. Air conditioning, and what do you do? It's the world's gone mad over here. Let's see here. Happy Tuesday. Look over here, JB. Really quick, everybody. I know yesterday's show took a crazy turn, but it was a message that definitely needed to be helped. So if you guys are out there, please share that video very, very much. Get it out there. It was a deep, heavy show. Thomas Georgery, young kid, 23, and it's a very sad show. If you did not see it, go see it. It's on the playlist and all that stuff. But please share this. There's somebody out there that if you could help a family have some closure, it's not going to bring back their child, but just something out there. So on that note, our prayers and our thoughts are with them, and we just want the best for that family as it can be. All righty. Let's do this. Today's going to be a special show. Everybody's excited for this one.
Mm-hmm.
There was a band Now I have a friend named Bruce Kulick, right? And Bruce Kulick had a band a long time ago. Now, was it before Meatloaf, Oy vey? You know a little more history. It was after Meatloaf. So Bruce was in a band called Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell. He was he's a touring guitar player. I ask you, why interview Bruce? I have you. I don't need Bruce. I mean, don't need him. But that band. So in the photo over here, Oy vey, because you're the expert. Look at the overlays, George. When you make my overlays, come on, dude, do the whole page. George, the artist. Sometimes you could see. Look at Bruce Kulick over there. There he is with the mustache on the upper right. Right. We have Bruce Kulick, right, and then who's on right underneath Bruce with the David Cassidy hairdo?
That's Cyndi.
That's Cyndi Gennaro, huh?
Yeah.
Into the Night, the drummer on that record. So this is the band that Cyndi was playing in when Benny Mardones heard him. And says, hey, Benny said, screw those guys. Come with me. I want to make you a star, kid. Right? Then we got the bass player over there. Look at the look. Yep. Is that where the guy from Spinal Tap probably had to take that look? Look at the mustache. That's 70s, huh?
That's
this is cool. Jimmy. Look how cool. It's like Lemmy before,
cool.
Right?
Before it was cool. It was cool.
Look at Bruce over there. He's almost like what's the guy from Three's Company? Larry. He looks like Larry, like rocking like Larry. Come on, knocking on the door. Then now, who's the other guy? All the way on the other side.
I think he became a famous soul singer. Michael something.
Michael Bolton, huh?
Yeah.
Did he
Bolton.
I used to see that guy in New York City play at a club at Nirvana. It was like a jam club, and he always would walk in and sing the same song, Dock of the Bay. And if I was an A&R guy back then, this is before he was famous. I was 16, 17. I'd sneak into clubs. I go, this guy is good. He could do something.
Great vocalist, no doubt. Yeah.
If only somebody would have believed me and took my word, I could have been real successful because I discovered him before anybody discovered him.
So you're the original guy that discovered.
I'm the guy who discovered Michael Bolton. I was 17 years old. I snuck in Nirvana. Yeah, I had braces. I kept my mouth shut. Yeah, I went there. It was an Indian restaurant. I kept my mouth shut. I had braces. Got in, and I saw him walk up, sang. There's not 20 people there. He sang to Steph, and he showcased for me, sitting on Dock of the Bay, and I knew. I said, "Hey, kid, you got something."
Yeah,
but I couldn't say it because I didn't want people to see the braces.
Right.
Would have been like,
so you gave him an ADIKA group card.
Look at this. Look at this. Not only did I got sun rays in my eyes. This is your phone. You're gonna have to. All right. Anyway, this is the show. Let's talk to the people in the audience. You know what? Let's keep the show running on time. It is 8:09 a.m. PST time. What is going on in your life? Who's in the audience? We got over here. We got Kelly. We got Donnell. We got Mikey UPS is somewhere there. We got Cooking with the Kid. Cooking. Always good to see Cooking with the Kids out there. We got Bill K. Bill K. What's he writing over there? Bill K. Daddy Bog is here. The Queen of Vinyl is here. There's Heidi.
Ooh.
Everybody, she kicked Ashley's ass Saturday.
She sure did.
She sure did, huh? This is it. Look at this. You got your boy, Roy Boy. A lady can get pregnant just touching a mustache like that. Corey Leviton, don't be so excited, but I know you have a lot of questions to ask our guests. What do you have to say?
Well, I didn't even know his name was Michael Bolton last time. They kept referring to Michael Bolton. I'm like, you're not getting his name right. So what do I know? But when he saw him when you were 17, did you was his name Bolton yet?
No, I didn't even talk to. I didn't ask him for driver's license. What do you think? What do you think I was working to do? And ID'd him. I just saw this guy. This guy just walked to the stage, and I go, "This guy is really good singer." And I go, "Wow, the guy got soul." But I remember being in a club. It was like it was New York. It was back before we worked at Circus, and I remember one time I was at the club when he was jamming, and I heard these guys in suits talking, and he mentioned Benny Mardones. I swear, for some reason, certain things I remember. I don't remember where I put my house keys, but I remember the conversation. And then I go, "Oh my God, Benny Mardones!" I was like, the way you are with Kiss, that's how I was with Benny Mardones.
What do you mean the way I am with Kiss? What is that supposed to mean?
You might have a little problem over there, but anyway, I mean, come on. Let's be. I mean, look at you. You look at you. You're like
the Beatles. You like the Beatles too, and Rod Stewart.
You're like the god of Hoarder. That's what you are.
God of Order. God of Order.
You got a hoarder over there. You know, look at all the
like
crap
that.
you
God
got
of Order.
What is that? What is that big blackjack you got there? What's that behind you?
Those are albums, my friend.
Let me see that blackjack on vinyl right there.
Boom, right here.
Would you have two of them?
Dude, I got backup. Come on.
He's hoarder. See, I told you, garage sale OIV, they call him. Look at this.
Yeah, good
That
stuff.
album
Good
cover.
stuff.
Will you hold it still? Like a look at
Come
it.
on.
God, it's like
There
the
we go.
Flash.
There we go.
Look at that. It's a cool album cover.
Very
Is
cool
that
album.
Bruce
cover.
right there next to Michael Bolton? Look at this.
Right where we at? Right here. Yes.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's cool.
You know what I
poster.
always liked about this record? When I was a kid, I bought this at a little record store called Apex Records, and the pressing back there opens up like a deck of cards. This one opens up from the side, like a normal album. Okay, but when I was a kid and I was at Apex Records, I saw this, and they had the huge store hanging display, and it had the 4 cards, which were these big cardboard hanging mobile, and I thought, man, that is so cool. So I bought the record, loved it, and I went back to the record store, and I was 10 years old, and I went back to the record store, and I said, hey, what are you guys going to do with that? And the lady says, do you want it? I said, yes. So to this day, I still have that. And
really?
Yeah, still have it. And I love this record so much that, you know, I was like, man, who are these guys? And then when the second record came out, boom, bought that too. And I've been a fan. And I've always, to this day, wished that in some way, somehow, these guys would make music again, because that was one of the best unheard bands. I say unheard, but you know what I mean, like overall. But great stuff.
Yeah, and that's the second record behind. Wait, they made 2 records. Where's the second album? Yeah, is that
Worlds Apart? It's the one with the blue cover right here.
The blue cover. Let me see that one. Hold that one up, because in darkened rooms, I like the second album better. Worlds Apart. Look at this. So they only went there. So the band was short-lived. 2 records, and that's it. Look at that.
1979, 1980, they were consecutive back to back.
Back to back.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Bruce looks like he was inspired by Doug Henning for his look back then.
He is very Vegas, huh? Got a Vegas look. Well, you know what? On that note, you know what I'm going to do?
What's that?
We're going to bring them in one by one. Alrighty, Oive, I'm going to let you pick one by one, like John, Paul, George, Ringo. Why don't you do it?
Oops.
Come on.
My record's hawking me Chinic over here.
Yeah, let's do the intro while we're young, Oive. Come on.
All right, come on.
One by one. We'll bring
Ladies
each guy up.
From Blackjack, we got Bruce, Cyndi, and Jimmy.
There's Bruce.
Boom.
Hello. Good morning, Bruce. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. We got Cyndi. Good morning, Cyndi. How you doing?
Hola.
Hi, sounds good. And we got the wonderful, the bass master, Jimmy. Jimmy, how you doing?
What's happening?
This is good. You know what? We planned this just right, gentlemen, because you're all at the bottom as a band. We're on top, the panel. Welcome to Coffee Talk with ADIKA. Jimmy, very nice to meet you for the first time. Thank you for
my pleasure.
Really quick question. Jimmy, Cyndi, Bruce, when was the last time you guys were all in the room together?
Oh, God. Well, all together. A long time ago.
40 years. 40
years? Cyndi got it 40 years ago.
1980.
Wow. I've seen Bruce a few times.
Yeah.
And I've seen Bruce a few times.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen Jimmy in 40 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
We talked. Well, I think one time you contacted me about your website, and I liked it, and we talked for a second, and that was it. You know?
Awesome.
And I ran into Michael in Maui, of all places.
Wow.
I was there. My wife took me there for my 50th birthday, and I went up to a little place to get a smoothie, and I looked over to my right, and there was Michael, and I said, Michael, what's going on? And he was pretty flipped out. We talked for a little while, and that's it. He vanished into the ether, and that was it.
That was it, huh?
Yeah.
It was at a restaurant, you said you guys were at?
No, it was at the Four Seasons on Maui.
Oh, the Four Seasons at Maui.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's it. And then
That
Bruce invited me to play on one of his records, and I got to do a session with Bruce a few years back with I can't remember the drummer now, but Lukather played too.
Yep. Kenny Aronoff would have
Very
been
cool.
the drummer.
That's it.
Yeah.
Was it Kenny Aronoff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
On that
wow.
track, yeah.
On that
Yeah.
track. And then I also came to your house and played
Right.
on something with your
Yeah.
producer.
I could barely remember that, but that's
Yeah.
probably really true. Yes.
Yeah.
Your producer was kicking my ass.
Yeah, that would have been Jeremy. Yes, he's very pushy that way. Yes.
Wow.
But that was a trip. And, Jimmy's very unusual as a bassist. We all know here, Sandy especially, what a brilliant musician he is. But he plays upside down. Okay, and Stefan, Jimmy, you should know that Stefan's a good bass player. Okay,
I know.
You're a meat and potato rock guy. Okay,
Yeah.
I've jammed many times with Stefan through the years. That's how we know each other. But Jim, unlike a Hendrix, he plays lefty, but the strings are. Isn't it more like Albert King? You know what I mean?
That's what it is.
Right. So the low E is the high string. Okay.
It's upside down.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you just played upside. Wow.
Yeah.
I started playing when I was 13. I didn't know what I was doing. So
you just formed that. You formed a habit, maybe a bad habit that turned into a good habit, probably, right? You didn't do it by the rules.
No.
Well, I didn't know.
That's wonderful.
You need to go look on YouTube for him playing, and you'll see what I mean, Stefan. It's really a trip.
Wow, that is a
But
trip.
what was nice when we recorded, I remember for that song, it was the one instrumental on BK3. I know Jimmy's got basses. He's got this. What do you got? The 5 and the 6 string basses, right?
I do.
Yeah, as a fusion jazz. Jimmy won a Grammy, okay, for his band, the Yellow Jackets, okay.
Mhm.
So this guy's got all the creds. But I brought my 4-string 66 P bass, which is gorgeous, just in case. You know what I mean? You go into the studio, you may as well have it there. And I let the engineer pick. And actually, and I know Jimmy was very cool about it. He did wind up playing my bass, okay. But it was really trippy. I think I have a photo of him, with holding it the other way. But he was still able to play it. Of course, it was, backwards or whatever. It was very weird.
Wow. It's Hendrix style. The days of the Jordan lines is even saying that's like the Hendrix style bass player over there. It's pretty wild. Okay,
again, Hendrix changed the nut on those guitars.
Yeah.
So Hendrix's high E was,
in the right spot. It was in the right spot.
It was where it should be, and Jimmy's just completely upside down.
Jimmy didn't. You didn't want to change the nut. I'm not dealing. I'm just going to learn it this way.
I just learned it that way. Yeah.
That's it. It's either my way or the Jimmy way. That's it. I like that. I love. That's how us bass players think the same over here. I'm the same thing with the show. It's ADIKA, my way. That's why Corey, he's muted. He has nothing to say, but it's better that way because he got fired from Circus Magazine. Corey, we'll get to you in a second. Take us back, okay? And I'm going to tell you guys something. And everybody watching, this show happened, and you know how I just show it? Doc McGee was supposed to come on. Then he rescheduled. He came on a couple days later. So because Doc rescheduling, I go, I need a guest. And I kind of yelled at Oive because I go, well, this is your mess up. Called Sandy up. Sandy came last second on the show. Sandy was such a fantastic guest and such a great message. And what a wonderful guy. Not only is he a great drummer,
always,
and the stuff he's done, he's a great person, great heart. I go, I like this guy. And then I started thinking, I go, Sandy, let's do this Blackjack. Let's see if we get the guys together. Got Bruce, and I got to thank Pat the Wizard, who does my talking vinyl, for getting Jimmy over here, reaching out. So it all worked out perfect. Yeah. Now I want to know something. I want to know a lot about Blackjack. I used to see the name, back when I had the Kiss records and the band that Bruce was in and all this stuff. How did you guys start? How did you guys meet? Whoever.
Can I just? I'll give the overview how I remember, and I'd love Sandy and Jimmy to fill in their story because it's pretty fascinating. I mean, to start with, Michael was very popular in the tri-state area, and there he was. I remember playing some gigs with him. He did a demo with actually Johnny Winters on guitar. Okay. And he shopped it, and there was a agent involved. But a very, very powerful man named Stephen Weiss, a lawyer. He worked with Led Zeppelin and Bad Company, loved it and wanted to sign Michael. But he told Michael, it needs to be a band, not you. Okay. And by the way, back then he was below 10. Okay. So fast forward to Michael approaching me. Okay. Then Sandy has a resume promo package, which I'm sure he could fill in on Stephen Weiss's desk because he was very smart back then. There was no digital ones, as you know, back in '79. And he got an audition, and we knew immediately he was in. And I don't remember how we found Jimmy, but Jimmy was in New York, of course, and that's the right place to be. And the next thing I know, we're down in Florida recording with Tom Dowd, okay, a very famous engineer producer. So that's like the short, the short note story on Blackjack meeting and having a band together.
The short version. Cyndi?
And basically, I wrote a resume. I was in LA looking for my first big break, and I went to the library and took the names and addresses of the managers of 50 bands that I really liked their music. And I sent them, one of the managers was Peter Grant. But the address was this address.
Oh, look, he's got it there. Yeah.
Stephen Weiss. Unbelievable.
That's the envelope I sent. Well, actually, he sent it back to me. He actually sent the contract back to me. But that's the address I sent the resume to. Right at the time, as Bruce said, he's putting a band together around Michael. And from what I understand, there was some songs written. Bruce and Michael wrote some songs that were being shopped. And the labels were getting back to Steve saying, hey, we want to see this band. Right at that point, he opens up my resume. Stephen Weiss, his name wasn't even on it. He opens it and says, oh, well, the guy's in L.A. Well, then he opens the second page and he sees Carmine Appices was my only reference in my resume because I befriended Carmine in L.A. So he, as coincidence would have it, Steve Weiss used to handle Carmine's old band, the Vanilla Fudge, and he knew him personally. He called Carmine, who's this guy, Cyndi? Carmine vouches for me. The next thing I know, I'm on a plane auditioning for, and I think the story was when I first got there, I think it was on a Wednesday, Bruce was there, Michael was there, but there was another bass player there. And I think the story is, and Jimmy could correct or incorrect me, but he was on the road with Tom Scott, and they had it. Then the next day he flew in, and that was the Blackjack band. We auditioned, showcased for labels. Polygram won the bid, and then we showcased for Tom Dowd. He loved it. And the next thing, like Bruce said, we were in Criteria, and I was pinching myself the whole way, because when I sent that resume out, I was about to throw the sticks. It's another story for my book. But I was close to the end in more ways than one when I was living in LA. I was at the bottom. But anyway, go ahead, Jimmy. What's your take?
Well, that's awesome. So Steve, it seems that Steve Weiss was the catalyst for this whole thing, because I met Steve Weiss. I grew up in Long Island, so I was in a band for just like a few months with this guitar player named April Lawton, and she had a band called Ramatam with Mitch Mitchell on drums and Mike Panera on guitar.
Oh, wow.
From Blues Image. So I was playing with her, and Steve Weiss was trying to manage her, and I became friends with Steve. And then I moved to Los Angeles. And I think Cyndi was right. I was on the road with Tom Scott and Steve Kahn, a guitar player who lives in New York and played with the Brecker Brothers and all that. And Steve called me and said, hey, I got this band. They're close to getting a deal. Can you come to New York, rehearse with the band so we could do a showcase? And I said, yeah, sure. So flew out to New York, met Cyndi, met Bruce. And Bruce, I just got to say, broke my heart when I found out about your bro. Bobby, all my condolences to you and your family.
Sure, thank you.
I met Bob and Bruce.
Bob was, everyone should understand, actually, at the very beginning, Bob was involved with Blackjack.
That's right.
And it was a little bit, very unfortunate, very, very uncomfortable for me because he's my older brother. And that's how I was introduced to Michael. And I remember we were all handed the contracts for what it would be to work with Michael. It is the music business. We're going to sign a record deal. And I remember my attorney was pretty clear that how it would lay out, that it seemed great opportunity to me. And Bob didn't, okay? Bob was very resistant about it. And Stephen Weiss was not the lawyer that you're going to say, I need more, or this isn't fair enough for me. You know what I mean? And sadly, it was Stephen. Michael and I were close already because we knew each other, and Jimmy and Cyndi didn't know Michael at all. So there I am dealing with Michael, and we have to make this like, what do we do? Stephen's like, absolutely, he cannot be in the band. And I looked at Michael, I go like, I'm just letting you know, I can't pass up this opportunity. And I was explained that the opportunity was fair enough, even though I may not be your equal in the band because you got the record deal. It's based on you. So I carried on, and I have to admit it was one of the, at times there were as brothers, as we all know, as it all happens in life, sometimes brothers are going to disagree and it becomes a little stressful. So that was from 79 that I had to deal with my brother, which was really kind of tragic. But he still co-wrote 2 of the songs on the first Blackjack record. He was credited and paid, and I have all those papers I found actually even at his house, but it was really sad. And that was the script, how it was written, and how it happened. And instead we were 4 instead of 5. That's a very little known fact, but I did want to share it, Jimmy, and thank you for the condolences. I've been finally starting to, talk a little bit more about, I've been celebrating my brother's accomplishments and everything, but he touched so many different things, of course, in my career. And this was one too, but very unknown. I mean, maybe Michael McVeigh, because he has the albums, he might've looked at the credits and he might've seen another Kulick name on Love Me Tonight and another song. So now you understand how. Okay.
Wow.
Now, Bruce, can you correct me on something? I have a memory of when Bob was in the band, and this may be part of the reason Steve felt the way he did or whatever, and this may be a product of the game of telephone. When you pass it on, the story ends up to be different years later. But I remember going to dinner to celebrate. Well, Steve Weiss called us to dinner at the Bombay Palace, 49th Street, Madison Avenue, Indian restaurant, a favorite of Steve's and Swan Song Records, which was
and Zeppelin, of course.
Okay, yes. and it was Zeppelin's favorite Indian restaurant or whatever. But there was the 5 of us, and I'm not sure if Phil Laredo was there, but Steve Weiss called a meeting, and he announced at that meeting the fact that he had gotten Tom Dowd to produce the record. Now, I was very, very excited reading Tom Dowd's name on albums growing up or whatever. But am I correct in thinking that Bob pushed back a little bit on that decision to hire for someone outside the band to hire a producer without consulting the band? And that might have been an element where a pushback to Steve Weiss. And then I remember the next call I got was, remember Steve Weiss's limo driver, I think his name was Henry. He drove the Rolls Royce around for Steve. He picked us all out, picked us all up, and he drove us out to Steve Weiss's house in Old Westbury. And all of a sudden there was the 4 of us there, and Steve, and Bob wasn't there. And that was, I kind of remember him breaking it to you or discussing it with you with velvet gloves, the fact that Bob is not going to be involved in the band. Am I correct in any of that?
Okay. This is my memory. This is Stefan. This is my people's books, and I know the Kiss books, they talk about it too. One guy says one thing, another guy says another thing. Right. I don't remember the Bombay restaurant. Certainly a story that you might have remembered that Bob might have pushed back about Tom Dowd, who is famous but was more an R&B guy. I could see Bob thinking, well, maybe shouldn't it be a rock guy or something like that. Right. But I don't remember that, so I can't confirm that. But I do know that I was brought out by myself to sign the contract at that Westbury estate. And Jimmy, if you knew Steve back then, you know the house, okay? Yes. I never saw a home with brass sinks and gold everywhere in a home. It's a Westbury estate. The guy was a very successful, wealthy lawyer, but I remember being picked up by the limo guy in the Rolls Royce, and I don't remember if his name was Henry or something else, but I went myself, Cyndi, and it was very clear that he did explain to me, look, I was already aware that my brother wouldn't be in the band, but the point is, we had a good discussion about it. It was like I looked at him like industry giant daddy figure, you know what I mean? And he had to explain to me why I need to handle this and carry on with it, because your brother might, you know, he's respectful of Bob, but he did want me to be fully committed to doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but yeah, Bob was there for quite a while, and then he wasn't. And I got to admit, because that was probably pretty traumatic for me, I don't remember all the details of it. And we're all going to have a little different part of that. I don't even know if he was there for the audition for the big label thing. And it sounds like you're thinking he was. But either way, with a guy like Stephen Weiss, if he suddenly tells the label, which by the way wasn't Polygram, it was Polydor at the time,
right?
That we have a deal, and Eki Schnabel, the big new president or something, and have all this money, and they want us to do a record, and they want to hire a Tom Dowd, who is so expensive. Okay, you know, to be quite honest, I'm sure that no one was going to complain that there's only one guitar player now, not two. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it all moved ahead, and we got that Criteria Miami, you know, studio experience working with Tom. And you guys should all remember this: the biggest nightmare for Michael Bolton, who the whole band was based around, was Tom Dowd.
Right.
You remember that?
Yes, I do.
Jimmy probably did.
Hey, Bruce.
He cut tracks and probably left.
Yeah,
I did, but I stayed for the mix and
all right, so you know that Michael was felt tortured by Tom. And
wow.
I never felt that Michael was comfortable singing on that album. Stefan, if you listen to that record, to later stuff from Michael, he just sounds a little nervous, you know what I mean? And Michael, for a long time, when he became very, very popular, especially when he was the Blue Eyed Soul big singer that wins a Grammy and everything, he already wrote the hit with Kiss, you know, Forever, and I have that introduction, whatever. I forget the timeline of him taking off to become a superstar, but the point is, he didn't want to look at a Blackjack record. He didn't want to sign a Blackjack.
Wild. That's wild.
No, that wasn't forever, but that was for a while. Okay. He was very, I just know that he carried and it was unfortunate, because I felt like, well, we were all doing the best we could. And I always tell people, if it wasn't for me playing with Meatloaf or doing Blackjack, I wouldn't have been primed to be in a band like Kiss, because I got to understand how the music business works. I got to understand what it is to work with egos and producers that are difficult and want to, you know what I mean? And Stefan, you know all the people in the industry.
Yeah.
And not only band people, we're talking about now the lawyers, the managers, and all the people that are involved. So that really helped me walk into Kiss going like, I know how hard this could be, but I'm going to make it work. And that's how 12 years was under my belt. I always am so grateful of all those experiences. Cyndi, you know, we learned the business. That was like Rockstar Business 101 course. Blackjack.
Right.
Not only the Rockstar Business, but staying around for the mix and for the overdubs and everything. That was music production, how to play for the song. I remember him calling me out for this one fill I did, and I go, "Well, Tommy, I thought it was a great fill." He said, "I thought it was a wonderful fill, but why did you play it that long of a fill in the beginning of the intro of a chorus?" He said, "Save it for your clinics. Save it for your drum solo." And that always, I mean, it was a tremendous learning experience, and more valuable than any time in the studio was sitting with Tom during dinner, because we had a set schedule every day, like 12 to 9 or something. We used to go out to dinner. I have it called in and hear Tom Dowd's stories. Man, I looked at him as a musical father. I mean, he was a tremendous influence on me.
Absolutely. Hey, you guys should realize there's something else really that was incredible that happened during that recording. Tom he's interviewed for a big promo thing. Now this is 1979, okay, and somewhere he makes this reference though about, and I don't know if it was in that video or it was just something written, but you guys heard this. He said it sounds like a guitar from Kiss. He references Kiss, but I don't remember if it was positive or negative. You get what I mean? I can't remember the quote. Michael will probably find it here for me. But that was really weird. And I think Michael put that in his book. That's something, I know he talked a little bit about that record, you know, and working with such an iconic producer. And a lot of the rock people watching this stuff and may not be familiar with Tom, but you know about his record. There was even a documentary movie that did very well about his life. And what's even more bizarre, we could talk for hours about both of the records, but the second record was with Eddie Offord, who's the engineer from Yes, and he was having a meltdown in his life, unfortunately, at the time. And we were left like on our own. Jimmy, I don't know, you were there for a little bit.
What was going on? What was going on in his life? The meltdown.
I think he had some, drug habits. Okay. And he was such a sweet man, and he just wasn't there, or he just couldn't do it. And the engineer, Rob, was doing the work. That's the name of the documentary on Tom. Yeah. But Eddie Offord, one of my big heroes, and he just kind of bailed on us. That record was, Michael and I had to finish it with the engineer, and Jimmy, we had to bring in Steve Buslow to play some bass parts, who played with Paul Stanley.
I knew all about that.
Yeah, tell everybody. That was crazy. I mean, we're going into our second album, and everything was imploding up around us,
It was kind of crazy, and I think, I thought Eddie was acting a little odd. I also, in the middle of that, I got a call from this manager in LA who got a deal for a little group that I was doing some recording with. Was a guitar player named Robin Ford.
Little group who also has a Kiss connection, as you know.
Yeah. I also have a Kiss.
And you played on Creatures of the Night also. Exactly.
So you played on Creatures of the Night. So Jimmy played also on Creatures of the Night.
Yes.
Michael wouldn't.
Because I knew the producer, Michael James Jackson, because Michael James Jackson produced a record that never came out on Robin Ford. We did most of the tracks with Richie Hayward and Billy Payne from Little Feat, and the record just never came out. But I got along with Michael James Jackson. He called me in the middle of the night and said, "I have a session for you. Can you come right now to the record plant at like 11 o'clock at night?" And I said, okay. And he goes, "I'll tell you what's going on when you get down here." And I got down there, and it was a Kiss record. And Gene was there, and he sat in front of me while I played bass parts on these tunes. I guess he wasn't feeling well or something. I don't know what was going on. It was a pretty wild situation, and that Eric Carr was playing drums in the same room. So
that's cool.
Yeah. And then Robin was in another studio around the corner doing guitar overdubs for stuff. I think Vinnie Vincent played on
some of it too. Yeah. I Still Love You is the solo that Robin Ford played.
Right.
I don't know what track you played bass on though, Jimmy. Do you remember the title?
I played on like 6 or 7 tracks.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't think they kept everything, but
Saint and Sinner.
What's that?
Was it Saint and Sinner? Do you remember?
Well, he's saying you might have played on 6 songs, Michael. So you got to come up with a few more.
No, but I'm talking about the first one.
I remember playing on Danger.
Danger there. Okay,
yeah,
that's great. Look. By the way, everyone out there should know Kiss Records. It's not about that. It was kind of like if they needed it and the producer and they agreed, we want this to be amazing, they'll bring in whoever it is. And I am positive Gene is a tremendous bass player, but he probably freaked out watching you play, Jimmy. He must have freaked out upside down. And I am telling you, and Sandy can attest to this, and so could anyone who's ever jammed with you. And you are so in the pocket. You are so talented. Michael and I, you have no idea the smile on my face and Michael's face when you plugged in and played. And then you had the yellow MXR chorus pedal and you did a stereo thing. And I peed in my pants. I swear. When
I pee in my pants every time I watch the Love Me Tonight video, and I watch and I watch Jimmy lip sync the background vocals. It's so funny.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hilarious.
Where was that shot at? I was going to ask you guys that.
What's that?
Yeah, Love Me Tonight
was in the shot at. I was going to ask you guys that.
The roof of Polygram.
Well, that was Without Your Love was up there.
That's right. With helicopters.
Correct. Yeah, with helicopters. Wow. I made a reference to that recently with I was talking about Hide Your Heart, how Kiss did that video.
Yeah.
Helicopters were filming us. I said, no big deal. I know what that's like. Right? That was unbelievable. And there's a big fan who has a Blackjack page called Darren. I think you guys know Darren, right, Sandy? Darren, is it Futch or something?
Not familiar. Maybe I
this
do.
guy
Maybe
gave
online.
photos of us on the roof of Polygraph. Okay,
Wow.
Polydor. And he sent me the picture. Jimmy, is a great shot of us. There's a shot of you and Cyndi. You're playing drums. I don't know where you got those pictures, Cyndi. Where did you get those?
I had someone take them at the shoot. I have
Oh, they
video
were
of that too.
unbelievable. Yeah, I just got a copy, and I showed it the thing I did. But for us to do those videos back then, Stefan, think about it, 79, pre-MTV.
Right.
The label is spending money on us like you wouldn't believe, okay?
It was
Which
the
is
number
really
one priority at Polygraph.
Yes. And then when we sell 100,000 records, we bombed, okay? We had to sell, we had to be a gold act for them to support us and continue.
We had to sell 500,000.
Yeah.
500,000.
And you think about it, 100,000 records for a brand new band that came out of nowhere. None of us had a name. Michael only was known a little bit in New England. He wasn't, even though he had other records, they didn't do anything. You know, we still did well, but you know what was the big record then? And I know you guys are going to remember this. The big Breakfast in America, Supertramp.
Right.
We certainly weren't anything like that.
Wow.
Okay.
I remember that.
But tell me, Cyndi and Jimmy, how did you feel when you go into? I remember I would go to record stores, big ones, you know, Tower or whatever.
Yeah.
And the back of Billboard is a full page ad of our record. You look at that now, because I'm a neurotic Jew. I look at it and I get a migraine because I go like, oh my God, these guys will spend so much money. If we don't sell well, we're done. How did you guys feel? I mean, I was proud too. Don't misunderstand me. I'm excited. But Stefan, you know how what I'm talking about.
No, I totally get you.
Oh my God. Someone just went all out and banked us, and they better get their return or we're screwed.
Yeah, because you overanalyze it.
I didn't have that slant. I
know you're not worried like us. Stefan,
I got
Corey.
Hey, buddy. Hey, Cyndi, go down to Sam Goody of 55th Street. There's a life-size version of these things.
There
it is.
Life-size. So all I remember is Dickie Klein going, "Hey, Cyndi, you're going to be platinum by June. You might as well pick out the color of your Mercedes." And then I see Freddie Hyen on a video going, where we Blackjack, we play to win. It's not a gamble. It was the biggest priority in Polydor for 1979. It was unbelievable. So yeah, it was kind of, the air went out of the balloon when it kind of fell on his face.
Yeah, Sandy's like the guy. Sandy's like the guy in Goodfellas when he walks in the bar and De Niro's at the bar. He has the fur coat. Look at the new Cadillac I got. He's already got the money. He's already all right. Let's go do this. It's great.
How did you feel, Jimmy, when you saw that push? You knew what that was. I mean, that was big.
I was looking at it like, this is a really cool band, and all I could do is hope that it locked in, and we got some good airplay, and the band did well, and right. I got some really cool feedback. Remember, we did some gigs. We opened for Peter Frampton.
Peter Frampton, yes.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So when we finished the set, I don't know, I can't even remember where we played, but it was a big place.
Down in Florida, I remember we did some Southeast dates,
Yeah, because Peter was huge,
Yes.
So I'm walking up the stage, and the road crew for Peter, like a couple of guys, they came up to me and they go, "Who the hell are you guys?" They were blown away by what we just did. We had a good band. We played hard. I can't remember who was playing organ with us as a friend.
Oh, it was Alan St. John, or AKA Alan Levy.
Yes.
Who, remember, I told the story about how we found him last week, guys, and he used to be in a band called Swift Kick, and Phil Arito knew this
That's
band.
Right.
And we went to see him, Alan, in Swift Kick, and we said, "Oh yeah, he's a good-looking guy. He sings background.
Bring him in."
So we brought him in, and then he went on to play with Billy Squier after that.
Yeah, Billy used them quite well. Yes.
Now you talk about Jimmy. You talk about that tour with Peter Frampton.
Look at
Whoa!
Oh!
You gotta stand that. I don't have that. Sandy, please.
All of it.
Sandy,
every gig.
Look at that.
Hold
Unbelievable.
that to the screen for a second. Let's see that. Look at the numbers on. Let's see that.
Look at that thing.
Itinerary, August 18th. It wasn't very long of a tour.
Can you get it to Sandy? Can you show the page of the first runner on it? Do you have the dates where it kicks off?
No, they're just
Florida.
They're just individual dates.
Yeah,
okay.
Didn't you guys also go out with Marshall Tucker on that?
My father's place. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, you're right. We did.
I don't remember that.
We did a couple of gigs with Marshall Tucker.
Yeah.
We played PNC Bank Center in New Jersey, opening for Marshall Tucker. You're right, but that was like an isolated gig.
Right.
And we also went to Puerto Rico. Remember that?
That's correct.
For Joe Perry.
Joey Perry.
Oh, you did? The Joe Perry project.
I got tons of pictures of that.
I have a poster. Oh, please scan those, please. How about my Blackjack 8-track? Not that I ever owned an 8-track.
Oh, that's nice.
Unbelievable.
And
Bruce, is that the original?
What do you want for it, Bruce?
Now, wait, Bruce, the 8-track is this from when it came out that your original? You found it later. You rebought it.
I found it later because I don't know. I'd have to ask Lisa where she found that one. All right, but I nab things at expos and things from people like Michael. You know that.
Yeah. What's Sandy? What do you got there, Sandy?
Well, I got what Bruce has. I have a sealed copy.
Unbelievable.
Shrink wrap, but this cool because it was a little promo,
Good packaging.
and then it had the cassette.
Had a cassette in there.
Yeah, cassette in there.
Promo. So it's like
exactly.
It was quite a ride. And Michael, I was going to say I have an extra one of these. It's the original Blackjack flash kit.
Oh my God!
Oh, nice.
Yep.
So if you want me to, I have an extra one. If you want me to send you one, I can do that.
Yeah, dude, I would love that. Thank you, man.
Just text me your address.
Check this out.
Wow.
Look over there in the corner.
There you
see the big
go.
Blackjack thing, Sandy? You probably have that, right?
Yeah. What, that record?
It's not a record on the wall. It's
I don't have that flat.
Okay, it's really big. And then I definitely I went ahead and framed "Love Me Tonight" or something.
And I sent that. Did I send that to you?
You just showed. Yes, you did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Wow, that's right. You
Look
know,
at
so
us geeking out here. This is
back then, Bruce, marketing was so good. I wonder if it was Pat Travers. Did Jerry Jaffe, the manager, ever work with? He managed Pat Travers, right? With you, Jerry. Well, Jerry Jaffe. When I worked at Circus Magazine, he had promos left over. The promos were wild back then. It was a mirror.
Hold on.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, no.
I love it. It was. Sandy's the best. He's the best. You know, Corey. Sandy's my new host. Look at Corey. By the way, I got to thank my co-host. You guys are doing a great job, Corey. Great questions today. Another good one.
I have questions, but I didn't want to interrupt.
Don't worry, we'll get to you. Go sit comfortable. Sit comfortable. The show's going good.
My fact checker, right?
Is that the BC?
Okay, hold on, you guys.
It's not the one from them, but I wanted Jimmy to see it because Jimmy was very famous for a Koa Eagle base, and I broke my heart when he didn't ask me if I wanted to buy it from him when he got rid of it. Okay, but I have this Koa Mockingbird.
That's nice.
I wish I could get it back and give it.
I
would give it to you.
Whoever it is, ever doesn't want it anymore, you make sure you let me know. Okay.
All right.
Or write to the show if you're watching right now. We'll get it to Bruce. Hey, I know what Sandy's getting. You know what I'm getting at.
Is this a Jerry Jeff?
I had it, and I don't know what I did with it.
All right. First of all, I got the Pat Travers band gig, right, kind of shortly after Blackjack at the end of 1980. And Travers, because he was also on Polygram or Polydor, said, "Oh, you were in that fucking band Blackjack, you fuck. You took all our promotion people away. My album Crash and Burn didn't do shit." So I ended up with the Travers band and became good friends with Jaffe and all those guys. But anyway, you were talking about this, Stefan. This is still in the hermetically sealed package.
Oh, I wish I had mine. That's it. That is it. Yes. Yeah. That is
unbelievable.
It's yes.
It's a different Coke mirror.
That is the mirror. Look, there's the 4 lines in there. Look at that. You still I had it and
unbelievable.
Oh, that's so crazy. I remember that.
That is so crazy. You guys, look, they got the lines in the groove in the mirror already. You know, it's crazy.
Never been used, I'm sad to say. It's still in the package.
It's still in the package. I mean, look at that. That is crazy. I mean, Bruce. Wow.
I know. You know what that made me think of? It's kind of weird that it did because I was never, into that shit. But we were at a hotel, Blackjack, and we're in the South, Florida or something. And Sandy is convinced that the maid stole money from his pants or his room or something, right?
Right.
And he knows he had $100 bill and it was folded like really little, okay? And he's convinced, and I'm trying to help him, and we're trying to find it. And it was in like, you know how like those skinny pants will have like a little change pocket area or something like that. After going nuts and ready to call the police, he wound up. Cyndi, do you remember? We found the $100 bill, and it was like.
I vaguely, I was probably under the influence of what was in the.
Yeah, you might have been out of your mind.
You know, it's
but
so
I think
funny.
you had these tight red pants or something. They were there. You know, we had the greatest clothes too.
Oh, we did.
Parachute pants back then were inside. I think they were coming inside. You know, it's funny with the merch back then because we had Jack Douglas on the show, and back then, those were for the record company, the industry. Those like the Pat Travers, the mirrors. It's almost like, hey, let the sessions go. Here's the package. Stay in the studio longer. Get the records done. Don't take no breaks. That's what it was. It was the Red Bull back then. It was a whole different world.
Oh,
the whole business.
Totally.
We became our parents, everybody. Now we could say back in our day, you know, back in our day, you know, it became that.
But the business is totally different now. Like you said, it's just
totally
completely
different.
You were so reliant on those promo people and the marketing and that budget to get things on the radio. And then if it clicks, things start to happen. If it doesn't click, you're dead in the water. And we didn't get that single, you know, we didn't get that push, you know. I mean, they were trying, but it just didn't take off. You know, just did.
You know, and Bruce, I asked Jerry Jaffe years later, why do you think the Blackjack thing, with every promotional marketing tool that any band would want, you know, we had independent promo people, we had the video on the roof, we had the video in the studio to be sent to Europe for promo, blah, blah, blah. And Jerry said, I think it was because it was overhyped. Like these promo people convinced radio that this was the best thing since white bread. And even though it was good, it didn't live up to the hype. And Jerry said, if we just released it like any other record, it probably would have done better. Go figure.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And you know, the only reason we survived to the second record was the power of Stephen Weiss. You have an attorney like that. They were ready to just drop us. And then I heard some of those label people, they got their heads chopped off. So that record almost didn't come out. And this is a great story I should really save for my book, but it's fascinating. I do a record with Billy Squier. Okay, another thing that my brother was supposed to do and he couldn't, and I did. And Billy loved it, and that's Tale of the Tape, Eddie Trunk's favorite album. Okay. Anyway, the next thing I know, Billy wants me to go on tour, but I'm in Blackjack. Okay. And even though Jimmy was off doing something else, we just finished the second record and our producer kind of had a meltdown and he wasn't there, but we got it done. The label's falling apart. And the next thing I know, I'm trying to figure out, do I bail on Michael and Blackjack, my band with Michael, or do I do Billy Squier? And I actually chose to stay because the manager, Phil Laredo, who was not like a big guy or anything, a famous guy, but he was, you know, taken care of by Stephen Weiss, said that we were getting tour support. So why would I leave and go to a Billy Squier if my band is going to play songs that I've co-written with Michael, right? And then in the end, we never toured. There was no tour support. Billy Squier goes out on the road, and by the second album, you know, he becomes a big star. You know, he became a superstar. But that gave me the opportunity to be in Kiss, to be honest. You know, which was ironic.
You know,
so I
you
was
guys
loyal
are
to Michael, stayed home, had no gig, wound up in the Good Rats. Okay, just a gig. Okay, and the Good Rats are just Jimmy knows.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so isn't that crazy? So I'm loyal to Michael and Blackjack because I cared about it. I saw the potential that Billy had. And by the way, that tour with Billy didn't really take off. That was Tale of the Tape. He got his legs, you know what I mean? But the next thing you know, he does a second record, which I probably would have recorded with him. But let me tell you, 12 years in Kiss is going to trump in any way a tour with Billy Squier or a recording with Billy Squier. Yeah. Billy was a one-man band. He wrote the songs. He had his own publishing. He created everything. So it's really interesting, and I'm proud that I was loyal to Michael, even though you can imagine how I felt when I saw Billy take off, and I'm playing bars on Long Island with the Good Rats. Yeah, I didn't know what was going to happen 6 months later. You know, by '84. You know, actually, I went off and played with Michael again. Cyndi, you remember that when Michael did more? He changed his name to Bolton. Okay. Right. And then he did some rock things. He did reach out to me. I left the Good Rats for that. And we opened up for Seeger. So check this connection out, Stefan. You're gonna freak real quick. So now I meet Don Brewer because Brewer is playing in Silver Bullet Band. Okay.
Wow.
So now there it is. Bob Seger sells out every arena date, right? And now with Michael, we're performing the new album from Michael, which was on MTV because it's late 83, 80. You know what I'm saying? You know, but he's doing cover songs too, because Michael was known for doing cover songs. You know, like that Joe Walsh hit, Rocky Mountain Way and stuff like that. Seeger's people say to Michael, you're set. There's a problem. You're doing too many covers. So I don't know if Sandy and Jimmy, you knew this. So we had to, all of a sudden, Michael's like, what the hell? And I go, Blackjack, dude. Let's start doing some Blackjack songs. So now we're doing I Can't Live Without You.
Shit.
I didn't know that.
Absolutely. And then Seeger's people, okay, you guys are cool. 3 weeks on the road with Seeger. Blackjack saved Michael Bolton now, not Bolton, okay? And now I meet Don Brewer, okay? And I'm in his conscious. He meets his wife-to-be on that tour.
Wow.
Okay, Sonny, and they're still together, you know, gazillion years now, and she's a dear friend of mine. And now when, you know, Grand Funk Mach 2 is going to be put back together, when Foreigner goes solo, who does he call? Me. And who's the singer that he chooses? Because without Max Carl, we couldn't do what we do, right? For 20 years now, pre-pandemic, of course. All right. And who does Max Carl know very well? One of his dearest friends, Jimmy Haslip.
Wow.
That's really crazy. That's crazy.
And who do I end up doing dates years later? A few dates, but Mark Farner.
Wow. That's funny. That's
wild.
wild.
And because of the fantasy camp, which is how I got to work very, very happily with Sandy in more recent years, the next thing I know, Mark is at the special guest, and I'm like, Mark, I know your songs, all respect, can I, if you need any help, and he invites me to go to Howard Stern to be the second guitar player, and it was all cool because, you know what I mean? Musicians, we all got to get along that way. Come on. I have all that respect for him. And Paul Stanley was so excited to sing backgrounds on, he wound up doing backup vocals for Closer to Home. Stefan, you remember we used to cover it? I'd sit on bass sometimes on that.
Totally.
But I'm trying to get to Jimmy. Jimmy, what was your connection with Max? So that all of a sudden I'm talking about you and I'm calling you again.
Okay,
did you play with Tommy Bolin or something?
Yes.
Oh, wow, you did.
Max and I were in Tommy Bolin's band with Mark Cranny, who I played with Gino Vanelli on Brother. And Max and I became very good friends. And Max did a record called The Circle, which he flew me to Frankfurt, Germany, and we were there for a whole month and did his solo record called The Circle. And we did some gigs with a couple of guys in LA, a guy named Tim Goodman on guitar, who later was in a band called Southern Pacific with some of the guys from the Doobie Brothers, and Jan Uvina on drums, who was Alice Cooper's drummer. And then next thing I know, Max moved to Georgia. He joined 38 Special. And wrote Second Chance, and I stayed in touch with him, and so I did a bunch of studio stuff. I actually recorded some tracks with Max that Glenn Frey produced. So there's all kinds of. There's a million. It's like a million connections.
Glenn Frey. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
But think about that. So he's connected to Kiss through Michael James Jackson, who's a dear friend of mine. Connected to Robin Ford, who I have to learn the I Still Love You solo that, when I play it, I make it my own, but Robin's the genius on that. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that he did the solo on that.
Yes. Yeah. And
then, here's one other thing. I'm sorry, Bruce.
No, go ahead.
Better though.
So another very good friend of mine is Carmine Appice, who hooked up Sandy.
Yes.
So Carmine got me out to LA. I ran into Carmine in New Orleans when I lived down there. I was playing with this guy named Phil Brown, and I ended up producing a Hendrix tribute for that guy. but Carmine was involved in that, and Carmine got me hooked up with Rod Stewart. And Tom Dowd was producing Rod Stewart.
Right.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's
And
fun.
Carmine plays on Paul's solo record,
right?
That my brother played on.
All right, so I got to interject here. That resume that I sent to Steve Weiss, I was so depressed, and one of the reasons why I was so depressed in LA, getting my first big break, and nothing was happening, because I told this story last week.
No, tell me, I love this story. This is
and
great.
I at a party, I befriended Gary Granger, who was a guitar player in Rod Stewart's band. I ended up getting an audition with Rod Stewart. It was at SIR. I had to learn Tonight's the Night, kick, snare, bass drum, kick, snare, hi-hat. Okay, I go to SIR. I'm rehearsing Tonight's the Night for like 2 weeks prior. I knew the song like the back of my hand, but I bring my own drum set to SIR where there's backline provided. And I said, no, Sandy, we have a drum set. No, I got to bring my own. I need to play on my own drum. So I proceeded to set up a double bass, 4 rack toms, 2 floor toms, about 5 cymbals in front of the SIR backline, where everybody takes their guitars off, and Rod Stewart goes to me, hey, those drums better sound good, mate. So I completely fucked that audition up, and that's what led to my extreme depression. Okay, so now I get the Blackjack gig. I'm rehearsing with Blackjack for the second record. Benny Mardones taps me on the shoulder and says, hey, man, were you playing drums in that room? I want you to play on my record. Long story short, I play on Benny Mardones' record. I'm in Florida tracking Benny Mardones' record produced by a guy named Barry Mraz, who manages Barry Mraz in 1980. Doc McGee. So Doc McGee, I get to know him very well. A couple years later, I'm in the Pat Travers band. Well, who ends up managing Pat Travers? Doc McGee. So years later, now here's my Kiss connect. Now years later, growing up and jamming in New York, I met Paul on numerous occasions, hung out at Studio 54 with Ace. And so I knew those guys, everybody except Gene and Peter. But Ace and Paul, I knew very well from running into them all the time in New York. So now I get a call from Doc. This had to be, Bruce, you can correct me on this, what the year of when Kiss did the Australian Symphony gig.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
2004 or so, something like that.
Okay, I get a call from Doc going, hey, Sandy, I know you teach, and Paul wants to play on, Paul wants to do some songs for this Australian Symphony gig that Eric Singer played on the demos. So, treading lightly around the subject, Doc said, hey, why don't you go, I'm going to send you a CD of all those demos, give Peter some parts that he could feel comfortable playing, if you know what I mean. And so we were on a conference call, Doc McGee, me and Peter, blah, blah, blah. So I ended up going over Peter's house with a drum set, 2 sets of headphones, and a Keto blaster, and I'm running Peter through all the tunes, all Paul's tunes that he wanted to do with the Australian Symphony. It was a little tentative at first. You're not going to teach me how to play fucking Kiss songs. I've been playing them for 30 years. But every once in a while, we started talking. We're both Italian. We knew a lot of the same people from New York City, Max's Kansas City, Mercer Arts Center, Academy of Music, the whole thing. So me and Peter got on very well. Fast forward now to that subsequent, or I got a call from Australia. Peter Chris is going, hey, man, Sandy, I did great, man. I was able to play with a click, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I go to a Kiss show opening for Aerosmith subsequently after that. And I'm backstage, and Kiss is doing their meet and greet with the Kiss Army. They all got changed again after the show, put the new fresh makeup to do the meet and greet. So I'm sitting there with Doc, and after the meet and greet's over, we're all milling about. It's just the band and the crew, whatever, and in the tent. And Gene comes over to me and goes, and it's 8.5 feet tall, bends over and says, I want to thank you, man, for working with Peter. I want to thank you. I go, that's no problem. It was a great time. Gene, nice to meet you. He goes, usually when Peter finishes a Kiss tour, he puts the sticks down and doesn't pick them up again until the next tour. But for the Australian Symphony rehearsals, he came very, very prepared. So we were ready to go on day one, man. I really, really appreciate that. So that's how the revolving circle, how everything intermixes. The longer you're in this business, and Jimmy and Bruce are 2 prime examples. the paths tend to cross, and the synchronicity and the serendipity and blah blah blah. You never know.
It's funny. Doc was just on this show a couple of days ago, and he was saying, "Hey, Sandy, it's giving you props. He just I got him to get Peter Chris's lessons back, and it was funny. He just brought it up, and that's a great story.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Peter called me from Australia, as I said. But then after that tour was over, I got another call from Peter going, "Hey, you fucking Sandy, you fuck." I go, what? What's up, Pete? He goes, now I have, it's in my contract now when I go on the road with Kiss again, however many tours he ended up doing, because now it's in my contract. I have to get together with you prior to the rehearsal, so I'm in shape when I rehearse with Kiss. It was so funny. I never went back because I think there was a little, Bruce can shed some more light on it. But
probably Eric Singer. Fast forward to Eric Singer back in the band. That's all.
That's it. Right.
That's it.
Pretty simple. You know what I mean? But wow.
I'm just wondering, Corey and Michael, did you guys have any questions for us? Yeah.
Let's see. Look how polite Jimmy is. See, Jimmy, you're a good guy. You care. You care. You know what, Jimmy? Hey, Jimmy, be careful. Be careful what you wish for. Just remember that. Just be careful. It's like a guy from Brooklyn moving to the Midwest, and you can't get good Italian food. I always wanted. Okay.
Like tomato sauce.
I just wanted to comment that
hold on 1 second. Hold on really quick. Here's we're going to get Corlumbo over here. All right, there you go. Questions with Corlumbo. Go ahead, Corey.
Corlumbo.
The story of Blackjack is the story of practically every artist signed to a record label that there ever was. Only about 1 out of 500 make it big. Now, people even back then would ask, "Oh, why is my record album $7.98? It only cost 50 cents to make." Well, the reason is that record companies are like investment banks. They put all this money into 499 bands that don't make it, hoping that one of them will. It's promotion, billboard ads, like you were saying, tour support, payola, it happened, cocaine. And basically, they're only just guessing. They have ears like everybody else, but they're not psychic. Mm-hmm. They don't know. Mm-hmm. And the reason that that there's still interest in Blackjack is because you guys went on to other things. That's the uncommon thing about Blackjack. But everything else about Blackjack is the story of almost every other band that was ever signed to a label. It's kind of sad. Yeah. I mean, not for you guys, but it's sad for most bands.
Well, is that a question? Is that the question, Corey? Gloria wants to know. Get to the point, Corey. Hey, Corey, do me a favor. Take some questions from the fans right here. Here, Corey, read them out.
No, I have
Corey.
A question.
Okay.
Blackjack was sampled by Jay-Z and Kanye. Who gets the money when that happens?
Well, the Kanye thing was properly handled. Okay, Kanye West approached. Went through like whatever one of the performance agencies, and I wound up actually Michael and I are listed. There's my Kanye West record in the corner there. You see that? Mm-hmm. College Dropout.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
He wound up borrowing from a song called "Never Let Me Down." Was "Power of Love" actually was the song. But anyway, long story short, it was cleared properly. Jay-Z wound up using "Stay" from the second album, and I don't want to comment on it because it's still being discussed. Okay, that's how unfortunate record business is. Okay, but it is interesting though, and it is out there. I had no clue, of course, about these things. I don't listen to rap music to know who's sampling who. But a few years ago, there's these sites that come up with this who's sampling who stuff, and it was kind of weird to see it in listed. But and Billy Squier has been sampled. We know about this though. It's kind of interesting. But that's a good question, and it's like kind of a sore point. And unfortunately, it happens right and it happens wrong, and I'm hoping things work out. That's all.
Yeah. Hey, Oive, you want to read this one for Ray Band 777?
Was Gary Corbett
keyboard player audition?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think
Gary. You see, Gary Corbett was for Kiss, but I don't think he ever had anything to do with Blackjack, right, guys?
No, I don't think so. He did co-write "Sheebop" for Cyndi Lauper. I know that.
Oh, that's right. You had, he was busy in New York with a lot of artists. And, one thing I wanted to mention about Cyndi too, not that I have any connection with it, but I remember when you went on to Cyndi Lauper, you didn't mention that. I know. Yeah. I think she broke your heart though, right?
Who did?
Cyndi?
Oh yeah. Well, we did that big long tour in 1984, 5-6 million records. And towards the end of that tour, I told this story last week too. To the end of that tour, champagne toast in her suite. Hey guys, for the second record, I want you all play on the record. You're all welcome to submit songs. You're going to have your own merch deal. I'm going to give the band your own name, blah, blah, blah. So we were a very well-paid sideman on retainer and everything during the last half of that tour. But we walked out of that to four sidemen. We said, now we're a band. We're limited partners in a follow-up to a 6 million selling record. So it turns out that the unfortunate part of that situation was that Cyndi Lauper had a romantic relationship with her manager, Dave Wolf, who brought the band. He found the band. So when they split up prior to the second record, anything that had to do with David Wolf was gone from Cyndi's life and career, and the band was part of it. So she's cleaned house, and we went out with the trash. But Cyndi and I mended fences over the years. I was kind of bitter at first for that, but listen, it was beyond. It had nothing to do with me or the band. It was just that we were just associated with Dave, who she got rid of in her life. But later on, when I was on tour with the Monkees, we were in the same city together, Cyndi and I, and I was actually doing a Davy Jones solo gig at a fair in Texas, and she was going to be playing the next night, so she came in a day early, and I had her come on stage and sing Daydream Believer with Davy, and it was awesome. But we sat there in a hotel after that gig, after that Davy Jones gig. Cyndi and I sat and we talked for like 4 hours, and I said, hey Cyndi, how come you never hung out with the band, man, when we were touring together? Well, David always said that he didn't want you to hang out with us, and David always kept the band and Cyndi kind of segregated, except for those champagne toasts or whatever. So yeah, I was kind of disappointed, but it's all good now.
Yeah, it's all good. We got over here Oive, Pat is over here.
Yeah.
What's it going to take, guys?
Make music.
Make new music?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, ready. Count it off, Sandy.
1, 2.
Very good.
You guys are so wonderful today. I mean, you got questions. You got a lot of people in here. I think we're going to need a part 2 for this show. I mean, this you guys willing to come back? We do another one, Bruce, sure, Sandy, Jimmy.
I'll invite Michael, but I can't make any promises.
I'm going to try to find them.
Bruce, you have a connection
he's
with
in
Michael.
Singapore. He hosts like a big TV show there or something.
Does he?
Wow.
Yes, Michael.
He's got to come on here.
I have
I thought you were going to say something.
I want to compliment Jimmy. I'm a fan. You guys know that. I've kept up with everything you guys have done. But I want to say something about Jimmy. A lot of people don't know he's done work with Al Jarreau, Chaka Khan, Anita Baker. I mean, on and on. And the guy's a phenomenal bass player. He's one of the best unheard guys, so to speak. And I have a question, 2 questions actually. Number 1, the name Blackjack. Did you guys come up with that, or was it already set? And were there any unreleased songs from any of the sessions?
Well, I did, if I may, I could be corrected, but we used to play Blackjack with Phil Arito.
Yes.
And we used to kick his ass. He would always lose all his money. And then I think somebody said, "Why don't we call the band Blackjack?"
Yeah, Jimmy, you're right. There was
something like that.
It was really stressful. The label kept pushing. We were just the Michael Bolton guys. With the big record company from the big lawyer and everything. And finally, I mean, that was probably one of Phil Larito's biggest contributions, if you think about it. Besides the connection, of course, with Steven, somehow they befriended each other. Even though they were in different leagues, we know that. Okay, but either way, I think because I don't know if I was playing cards because I was never very good at that, but I know you kicked his ass, and we went with Blackjack, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember we were looking at the name Kashmir, and that's the first time I heard that story, Jimmy, about how Blackjack became.
Oh, really? Okay. I knew that. Jimmy was right though.
But it was funny because. I think in the research to see if any other band had that name, It was determined that no, Blackjack. It was determined that some other band in Germany was using it, and Steve Weiss goes, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it.
Oh, absolutely.
So he came back the next couple of days later. Hey, Steve, what happened with the name? He goes, I squashed it.
Yeah. I mean, this guy was super powerful in the industry, and look, he made a percentage of everything from Led Zeppelin and Bad Company, and he was, just at the top of that tower. I think it was the Time Warner building or something like that. It was one of those very fancy
Time
buildings.
Warner, 666, I think, Fifth Avenue or something.
444 Madison Avenue, New York, 10016.
This building, but I know he was in this, didn't he have the penthouse, the top or floor or something?
Yeah.
I just remember it was power.
Those are the buildings that Corey would send me to.
And Corey knows. Corey made a good point. It wasn't a question, but he was right that, and I know Gene and I used to talk about this a lot, because Gene always understood the way the record businesses were, that they were like a bank. And, like music started to change in the, towards the Nirvana, Seattle grunge era. And all of a sudden they weren't dressed as rock stars. And now it was like they look like the guy pumping your gas. And I remember there was a lot of push and pull about that, because previously and always, even in the 70s, even if you didn't have to dress up too much, you knew what it was to be a rock star, and that was important. Okay. Right. Led Zeppelin carried themselves as rock stars, even without, out completely being outrageous. You had that air about you, and you always used it. And then grunge came in. So I remember Gene was wrestling with all this. There was the anti-label thing going on, and we talk about it, and he goes like, and I was confused because, I get that. And then he was like, wait a minute. So a label gives you $250,000 to go record. By the way, you owe nothing if it doesn't happen. You see, you know what I'm talking about? Try to go get $250,000 and not have mortgage your house against it or whatever it is. And Gene put it really in perspective for me that these artists hate the labels, and they make the majority of the money when it happens. But they put out, and Corey knows this, they put out all that money besides the money for you, the other 499 bands, and only one's going to stick at the wall, which is maybe why Gene wrote every song possible and throws it against the wall, and not all of them are going to be a hit. You know what I mean? It's that kind of approach. But in this case, there's a bank that you don't owe anything to. You see, and that's why you're indebted to the labels. Now, I know lately there's other major artists. I think Kanye had a meltdown about on Twitter. He posted his entire contract or something. Did you guys know that?
Oh, wow. I didn't see that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, just Google it. I mean, and he just shared. Now, I don't know what kind of contract Kanye's in, but when Prince wrote "slave" on his face,
yeah,
everybody gets into that.
You couldn't call him Prince.
I'm sorry.
You couldn't call him Prince too. It does that.
Yeah, exactly. The symbol. Every time I ever hear that argument, which I'm not saying it doesn't have a point of view, of course it does, but I always remember the conversations with Gene, because Gene's all about business. Okay, he understands that all that money a label has to put in to back you to do this, to promote it, to make it happen. And are you a slave? Well, you just took someone's tremendous amount of investment. And man, Sandy made a great point that I didn't know when he spoke to the A&R person or the other business person later on after Blackjack was over. Why didn't it happen? Boy, they hyped it to the point where you could never live up to it, so it was doomed to fail. And that's an incredibly tragic story for us. But we all did get to meet each other, make some great music together, make these connections, carry on.
Definitely.
And that's what I really love about all the artists that I've been involved with. I have, even if things were stressful at times, I would like to take away the good and bring it into the next thing.
Right.
And that's what, Stefan, you and your lunatic crew there, you serve a purpose here. Because Stefan was one of the first. I went on early with you, and I remember I knew you dreamed to do this show, and I think I was very supportive, Stefan. And I love that you do this. You remind everybody, as soon as you got Doc McGee, you were legitimatized. That I just bastardized that word, I think. But and this is what we are. This is a music community, and I wish everyone knew all the crazy things about you, Stefan, but you're a great talent, and you have a vision, and you want to package things, and you want to put everybody together. So thanks for inviting us.
No, yes. Bruce, man, I want to thank you for the compliment, and hey, thank all three of you gentlemen, man,
nice.
to giving me a chance. And Bruce, really nice of you to say that, man.
Well, you deserve it.
And thank you guys very much.
Can I ask one question that's just begging to be asked?
No. Wait, hold on. VTech
well,
666.
I'm going to ask it anyway.
Hold on, Sandy. Look right here, really quick. Look.
Okay, sorry.
Talk about the Bank of ADIKA. Not to hijack the show, but I have something of Bruce's that I'd be willing to lend him to feature in a future Guitar of the Month video. I'm sure having it in his hands again would make him smile. A hint. Cartoon Rich.
See, if he's saying Cartoon Rich, it sounds like a BC Rich, but I'm not sure if I had a BC Rich that looked like a cartoon. But please go ahead. All my emails are on my brucekulick.com. It's very easy to reach me. You can send a photo there. Bruce at brucekulick.com.
Yeah.
Please reach out. I'd love to see what you have. Because I cry about anything I ever sold, let go of, got rid of, traded, whatever. And I'm happy to have what I have, but it's always a trip, so that's cool.
I got Bruce's 78p bass. That's what I got.
That wasn't my Kiss years. I got a feeling this guy may have something from the Kiss years.
I know, but still Bruce Kulick on. So yes, I'm going to run with it. it. Sandy, I don't have any drumsticks from you, but I'll let you talk. All right. What do you got?
I was going to say, if the opportunity ever happened, this is spoken to Jimmy and Bruce. Would you be willing to get in a room together and play, the three of us, or with the help of the rock and roll gods, maybe even Michael?
Sure.
I mean, absolutely. Yeah. Michael has talked to me about that. People wanted him to do a rock record. He mentioned it like more than 3 times through the years. And I mean, through the last 10 years. And then nothing ever happens, So he has some affection now about being connected to something rock. Okay. Mm-hmm. So even that's possible. But I did want to mention, and I'll dig it up in the next week, I have some things we rehearsed that we didn't wind up recording. Wow. I don't know if they're really worth exploring, but but that's always kind of a nice place to start sometimes, looking at, things that didn't get finished, you know what I mean? But who knows, people are always asking about, you got anything unreleased? It was a good question. Was it you, Michael, that said it? I forget,
Yeah.
And I'll see what I got.
Yeah. The last time I saw Michael Bolton was at his 50th birthday party.
Oh, he's got the Iron Bird. That's cool.
At the New York Deli on 57th Street. And I went over and talked to him. He was very cordial. He was very happy to see me or whatever. And I mentioned the word Tom Dowd, and he was like, he didn't there wasn't much love lost there, but
no,
not a fan.
It's I would welcome that opportunity. It would be a great guest, even if it nothing ever came of it. Just for us to play together after 40 years, man, I would great. And if you guys want to come to Nashville, I got backline here, and and a PA, and I got the whole.
You got the whole shebang.
I know you're all set up there.
Yeah.
Well, I got I can record at home too. I've been doing people's sessions and all, so we could always trade files too.
We could do that.
And I don't know if you guys were aware, Lisa and I recorded Stay, where we performed it in our living room. Okay, and she sang Stay because she always loved that ballad.
Wow.
Yeah. It's on my YouTube channel, easy to find. And
great.
Jimmy, your bass playing, I imitated it. I used the actual track as the kind of basis. The problem was, when you overdub on a track that has no grid, that has no real tempo,
right?
It's really hard to manipulate things. And that track, really weird. I doubt if you know this, Stefan, another weird connection. David Sanchez, the keyboard player from E Street Band, who of course was a famous fusion guy, he's playing the keyboards. And Philippe Sace, another brilliant musician, is playing the piano, plays with Al Di Meola and all that. Wow. I still keep in touch with him. So you have no idea. I didn't do a piano on the version because I had to make a backing track for Lisa to sing Stay. There was no way I could play that just on the acoustic. Okay. So I made it took me a month at least. I did have a friend of mine, Kent, in Schluler, who plays with Luke Bryan, the country guy, because I met those guys through Chris Jericho. I hate the name drop and everything.
Yeah, that's all right.
That I sent the track to Kent. I said, I need real drums. Sandy, I didn't realize you had a drum kit there. You could have probably played the drums on that as well for me. But there is some drums on there. And anyway, it was fun to cover that song. I mean, even some of the songs that we did before are fun to revisit. And Lisa, of course, put the female vibe on it. You know, I sent it to Michael, and
What was
that was the response. Although I will admit, Michael responds a lot. Like when Grand Funk will do a cool casino showroom. There's a you know the way the casino is backstage. You guys have all seen it.
Yeah.
They like to put up all the posters of every artist that
Right.
ever played there. I'll take a picture every time I see the Michael thing because it's fun. You know, hey, I'm over here at the Mohegan, whatever. You know what I mean? I always get a response. Yeah.
Well, you know what? You never know, Mike. There's a fun fact here. I got to go to kindergarten, but look what Johan says. Bolton was supposed to do a classic rock tour this year, but the Corona thing happened. I think with you three guys here, with the people in the chat spreading the word out, people writing Blackjack to Bolton, two producers, I think we could get something going on here. We could get a tune out of you guys.
And then bring us out there. You know what I mean? That would be amazing.
I definitely think with the help of the people, the Coffee Talk family, and all the fans that you guys three have, I think all together, if we could come together, I think one tune, whatever it is, we do a Blackjack. We could do a virtual Blackjack and get it in your house because that's where we're at right now. You know what, gentlemen? I want to thank everybody being here today. We went long, but you know what? If you guys, we're going to do a part 2. Jimmy, Sandy, Bruce, we'll schedule a part 2 because I'm sure you guys in the family would like to see more. These guys have so many stories. Sandy, Gennaro, man, look at that. I love it. That is good. Cool. Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. Sandy, I love you, man. I'm so happy that me and you made a connection. Thank you, Oive, for doing that.
There I am.
You know, look at that. I want to thank Bruce Kulick. Right? Ooh, look at Bruce. He looks cool. Yeah. And look at Michael. Hey, there's
Michael.
Michael, we are missing you. You know what? The Coffee Talk family wants you. I think we can make it happen. Let's send him a message and send him a lot of love. That would be awesome. Gentlemen, it's been wonderful. Tomorrow I got producer Adam Hamilton. He's going to come on and talk about the new album he did with William Shatner called The Blues. You know William Shatner doing The Thrill Is Gone.
Little-known actor. Little
known actor. Well, our buddy Adam Hamilton produced his record. So great. And then we got, who else I got? Oh, Thursday, the lovely Derek Shrinian will be here October 1st. And then Friday.
Connection. Derek played keyboards on one of the tours.
He did. He played keyboard. That's right.
Probably overly, like, in other words, that was probably the simplest gig he's ever done because the guy's like a brilliant, musician, and now he's playing fifths on the keyboard.
Derek Shrinian, the Liberace of prog rock. And then we got Friday, Kenny Aronoff will be here and talking about this. He has coffee. Kenny's coming on there.
Connected. He's played with Jimmy and I on BK3 with Luke, Steve Luca there. Yep.
Another connection that the people want to know.
Bruce, Audio Dog too. He played drums on a couple of songs for me. My friend.
I'm going to say something. Bruce gave me a bunch of emails and I spammed everybody to get them on the show. But no, I want to thank you guys. And, gentlemen, thank you for believing in this channel. And family, let's get these guys to play some music for us. You know what? It takes your voice to get the music heard.
We want to hear from the people. We want to hear
right.
Send us an invite when you want us to get together. And Bruce, maybe, and Stefan, you reach out to Michael. Maybe we can get a surprise visit.
I think we should do that.
And please say hi to Kenny Makeenough.
I will. Sandy, you'll hear from me anyway.
It's Kenny Earn Enough, I think.
Earn Enough.
Kenny Makeenough. Earn Enough.
That's it.
I love the guy. He's great.
All right, gentlemen.
Thanks to Corey and Michael up there.
Hey, Corey, thanks. Hey, Michael, you want, or Corey, or Stefan, if you want one of these itineraries, not itinerary, I can copy that for you. But I have a press kit if you want to.
I would love it. Yeah.
Send me your text me your address. Text me your address.
Look at Oive.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
You need to. Oive, your internet is like mine. It's as dodgy as mine. Everybody, we are Coffee Talk. We'll see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We love you. We're out of here. Gentlemen, hold on one second before we disconnect.
Thank you, guys.
Goodbye. Mwah. Thank you, Blackjack.
Thanks, Stefan.
Back in the house. Jimmy, Sandy, Bruce, hang out 1 second. Boom.